Yeah, what's happening? We about to bring that action. Gotta hold it down for my Seattle Kraken. Hey, we going beneath the waves. We going beneath the waves. Get it hype, step onto the ice. Ready for some action. Release the Kraken. Hey, we going beneath the waves. Going beneath the waves.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Beneath the Waves podcast, your weekly recap of all things Seattle hockey and beyond. I am Derek.
And I am Matt. This is episode 69 of the BTW pod. On today's episode, we are going to catch up on all, and there is a lot of the Kraken news. We are going to preview the draft, and we will discuss who is the Kraken's best prospect versus the one we feel is the most NHL ready. So I'm expecting a pretty spicy conversation there. Derek, I don't know how your week's going, but my week is starting to wrap up pretty excitingly because in a day and a half, as of the time of this recording, I will be on summer vacation. School will be out.
Let's go. Boy, howdy.
It's a pretty good feeling. We're running the clock right now. Tomorrow we're gonna take a hike to a Dairy Queen. We're gonna buy everyone some blizzards and we're gonna have a nice snack. We're gonna just take as much outside time as we can. I did have a question like a legitimate question for you as someone who is follically impaired. That's just a nice way of
no
saying
hair,
bald.
no hair. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
bald. Yeah.
Um,
It's like follow.
do you ever have times when you're wearing a hat with like the snap backs? If you're wearing it forwards, backwards doesn't matter, where you get like a sunburn of the little rectangle that's left?
Can you do I have it right now or no? Can you see
I
it?
don't know. I can't really
I
tell.
feel like I kind of have a line right here now that you mention it. I have been wearing a backwards snapback with wow. My brother is not bald, but he wears a backwards hat literally everywhere. He has the worst one of all time. It's like it looks like, have you ever heard of the Tacoma Dome?
No.
Oh.
Well, I've heard of, but I have no reference of what you're talking
Okay,
about.
well, just imagine a dome, actually. It doesn't need to be the Tacoma Dome, but he literally has like a dome shape just in the middle of his head. It's unreal.
Because I'm going for like usually to kick off summer, I go and I get a nice haircut and I get all like nice and ready, and I buzz the sides of my head down pretty low, and I'm just terrified that now that we're doing this in video form, that I'm going to have like an outline from where my hair currently is because it's so
Ooh.
thick when I get it shaved
Are
down.
you just flexing? Is this just like, oh, this is the Beneath the Waves podcast where Matt flexes how thick his hair is to the
Maybe.
bald guy across from him? Is that what this
Maybe.
is?
Well, we'll see when I get out of the chair on Wednesday afternoon and if I have a stupid tan on my face. One thing with the end of school, I have an assignment that I give my kids every year where I have them write letters to the incoming kids to let them know like how to survive Mr. G's class, basically. Do you want to hear a couple excerpts
I
from these
absolutely I
letters?
do.
All right, here's one. He's very patient and laid back, but every person has their limits, so don't piss him off.
Jeez, man.
That kid means business. Mr. G's jokes are kind of bad, but make sure to laugh anyways so you don't hurt his feelings.
That's how I feel here all the
Yeah,
time.
that one checks out.
Yep.
I like this one. He always brings either a Tim Hortons white hot chocolate, a frozen lemonade, or a booster juice. So if he doesn't have a drink in his hand in the morning, you're cooked.
I didn't know that you were a fellow white hot chocolate
And I'm
enthusiast.
not a coffee guy.
I love white hot chocolates. I've gotten them like my entire life.
And the last one, this one I love. Even if you're not into hockey, always talk about how your favorite team is the Seattle Kraken, even though they are a mid team and lost to the Edmonton Oilers 9-4. Mr. G always has a place in his heart for them.
Who is this? Who is this kid? What? Why are they? Are they an Edmonton fan? Why are they randomly bringing up some Edmonton game?
This was back in like the fall when we did an assignment where they had to research the history of an NHL team. So for like 1 week, they were super invested in the NHL, and Edmonton played the Kraken that week.
Oh my god! I cannot believe the Kraken embarrassed us like that.
And really quick, got to update. Saskatchewan Roughriders 2-0, baby.
Let's
The
go.
back-to-back season continues. Shout out to all the people on TikTok who came in as Rider fans. Love the Rider Nation crossover. We had a double overtime football game. In the NFL, does it just go until somebody wins, or can you have a tie?
Oh, you can have a tie in regular season. Yeah,
Okay. The new thing in CFL is you can't have a tie. They don't want ties.
love
So
it.
what they do, two rounds of mini games. So you start like the 35 or the 40, and it's just like whoever scores more. And then if it's still tied after that, it's like a 2 point convert shootout,
Yep.
basically.
Have you ever
And
watched Have you ever watched American college football or no?
no.
That's almost exactly how their games are set up.
So this is again the Americanization that people are fearing. But Riders big 2-0 win over Calgary. Do you know what the Calgary team's name is called? If you were to guess what a Calgary football team name would be, their logo is a horse, I'll tell you that.
I, dude, the Cowboys. I don't know.
The Stampeders.
There you go. Oh wait, yeah, because they have the Calgary Stampede there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
actually heard about that this year.
It's pretty tough, pretty tough. So we'll see this week. We're against the Toronto Argonauts on Friday, so we'll see how that
Ooh,
goes.
I'm a big
It's
Argonauts guy.
are you?
Yeah.
It is here in Regina, but we are the away team because of the World Cup going on. So it's called the Prairie Blizzard game because they're wanting us to wear white.
You're playing an away game in your own stadium?
Yes,
No, no, that's
because
not
Toronto
okay.
can't play because
That's
of the
not
World
okay.
Cup.
Can you that no. There needs to be more Americanization because we would never stand for that in the States.
All right, all right. Okay, well, enough small talk. I need you to reach inside your desk and pull out your tinfoil hat because it is tinfoil hat time, baby. Because some late breaking news across the BTW newsroom. We have a tinfoil hat theory of what the hometown remix jerseys are going to be. Because thanks to Jessica Parker in the Seattle Kraken's 32 Crew Facebook group, we found out that at Kraken Community Iceplex, they have changed the logo at center ice to be an anchor. So we are starting to go with the theory that the anchor will be the logo on the hometown remix jerseys, which are going to be released in September when the season starts. Who knows? We'll keep our eyes peeled to aesthetics. We know that it's going to be navy blue in primary color, but if our tinfoil hatting is correct, and we tinfoil hatted that Bobby McMann would be back, and look how that turned out.
We did
So if
do
this
that.
also turns out true, what are your thoughts?
I am going to be honest. I don't love the anchor as a primary logo. I think they need to do something with it, like more accent colors or something. It needs to be more complex if it's going to be the main logo. So hopefully they will. But I will say that main Starbucks sheet where the Kraken practice at Kraken Community Iceplex, I feel like that is a good indicator because that thing is always the Seattle Kraken logo and it has the anchor for the little dashers on the red line. And now it is literally that anchor with the Seattle Kraken normal logo as the dashers on the red line. I don't know why you would make the normal logo the dashers on the red line. That just unless that wasn't going to be your normal logo for something. So I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty strong indication. So maybe a little hint that they're allowing to release. I don't know. I also don't know why they would need to do it so early if they're trying to keep it
Yeah.
under wraps.
This is like the Utah Jazz of ice redesigning.
That's who's going to leak it. Even though they're in an off season right now, they're probably still going to be the ones leaking it.
All right. We'll see how that pans out. But Derek, we had a crazy
Oh
Kraken
my
week.
god. Yes, we did. And before we get started here, before I hop in all the Kraken news, I just want to say the NHL is absolutely on fire. The whole entire league is burning down right now. There's so many different names linked to so many different teams. You have no idea what is happening. It is ridiculous. It's becoming like the NBA, which is amazing because it's so entertaining. There's just so much movement this offseason. It's crazy. There are too many trades and too many trade rumors to include because like it would make this episode hours long.
And we already chop this episode in half.
Yes, exactly. These episodes are already filled to the brim. But the first piece of Kraken news is that the Kraken actually made their first trade of the offseason by sending the 2026 25th overall pick that we got from Tampa Bay and the 2027 second round pick that we had to Florida for none other than 23-year-old forward Mackie Samoskevich, who has played in 156 games and scored 27 goals and 36 assists in that time. The 25th overall pick this year is slated to be someone that probably isn't worth fretting about because after like pick 10 to 15, the class kind of drops off. That seems to be the consensus. Samoskevich, who had 12 goals and 20 assists in 77 games on a very poor Panthers team last year, is Matty Beniers' former teammate with the University of Michigan Wolverines from 2021 to 2022. They were not on the same line, and it's unlikely they'll be on the same line in Seattle for the time being, but it's still a cool little fact. And SAMO was the 24th overall pick in that same 2021 entry draft where Beniers was chosen second. He was picked 22 picks after Beniers. The GM of the Panthers, Bill Zito, had said that SAMO has showcased his ability to slot into any role in the lineup and find success, and that he looked forward to seeing him compete in his organization for years to come. Sorry, Zito, it's not going to happen. It's going to be with us now. But while this may seem like a slight overpay to some, there have been some people saying that, a 25th in kind of a weaker draft and a second round pick for a former 24th overall, something about Samo seems like he will fit in really well with Seattle, and he profiles as someone who could have top 20% of the league offensive and defensive aspects of his game, and he's only 23 years old. So I am so excited to see how he's utilized in the Coach Lane Lambert defensive lockdown system. How are you feeling about this trade, Matt?
Sunday was a crazy day because I was out for a Father's Day brunch with my father-in-law, and you started texting me saying, Matt, something happened. Oh my God, trade happened. And I'm like standing in the buffet line with like a waffle and bacon and hash browns and trying to text with my other hand. And I mean, I kind of feel like I'm at the point with the Kraken where any move is exciting, like
Oh,
getting
yeah.
fired up. We're actually making a move towards something. People are saying, "Where's this audit? Where's this audit?" Well, maybe part of the audit says, "Let's go out and get some people that are under the age of 29." And
Exactly.
if we get a young guy, this is a strong first step towards the youth movement that everyone is clamoring for. He has that connection with Maddie before, so there should hopefully be some easy meshing right there. He played with Monty on that Stanley Cup winning team, so there should be another connection there. Any chance, and we talked about this in our torrent episode that's coming out in a couple days, any chance to center those Venn diagrams is just going to keep making a nice strong chain. And the only reservation I have, though it probably won't turn out to be a huge deal, is he's an RFA, so let's wait and see what the dollar amount's going to be on
Right.
what he gets. But I would think that if we say, hey, we are trading for you, we are giving up this, we want you, we hopefully aren't going to have some guy just kind of being like, well, you want me, how much are you gonna pay for me, and go on to arbitration and all this stuff. I have no understanding how the offer sheet stuff works, but a lot of what I was seeing was like if he would have been offer sheeted, it would have likely been like a first and a third. So if we did a first and a second, it's along those sorts of lines. So
Mhm.
we'll just have to wait and see how it pans out. But I like that he's 23 years old, and hopefully this change of scenery does a lot for him, kind of like how it did for Bobby McMann.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, looking at his profile, sort of his stats and the way he plays the game, he kind of reminds me as a Matty Beniers, like as a winger. So that's really good. And I was also watching the NHL even posted like, "Hey, Seattle, like meet Samoskevich that you just got." Like they posted like a highlight reel. Dude is always just like making so many offensive plays. He looks very creative. He's like flipping the puck as a pass and like multiple bat-in goals that he assisted. And I'm like, is that this guy's like go-to? He's just like, oh, I'll just put it in the air. And he scored so many wraparound goals, so many, like to the point where again, it's like is this like his strat? Like, is this something he's doing that other players aren't? So really hyped to see. Seems to have a really quick shot too. Now to get into a few signings that the
Getting
Seattle
right up in that
Kraken made.
microphone.
Getting right up in it. A few signings that the Kraken made this past week. You know, the first one we're getting into isn't too big of a deal. It's just that Bobby McMann has been re-signed by the Seattle Kraken, Matt. McMann came to Seattle in the last third of the season last year. He posted an elite 14 points in 18 games with the Kraken, including multiple multi-goal games. There was also a highlight reel posted today by the Kraken, and it is amazing. I tweeted this out on the BTW account. It is amazing how many highlight moments there have been with McMann, even though he's only played in 18 games. That is unreal. And I think we can expect more of the same going forward. The fan base has been begging and dying for this news, and it came the same day as the announcement of the Samoskevich acquisition. The deal is for 6 years at $5.75 million per year, and McMann just turned 30 this month, and it's probably the move and the player I am the most excited about as a Kraken fan. McMann really seems to be a difference maker with his size, his speed, his defensive play, and that scoring ability. That's very coveted. Highlight reel guy. Even when the supporting cast was quite bad last year, you'll remember that in the 18 games that McMann was on the team, that is where the team completely collapsed. He was the only one doing anything, and that team completely collapsed on him. It's a miracle that he even wanted to come back, honestly, because if you think about it from his perspective, bro's playing like 20 minutes a night, multi-goal games here and there, highlights and then the rest of the team just nothing. Literally just nothing. Between Eberle, McCann, Beniers, Samoskevich, Capocacco, and now Bobby McMann, there are a plethora of potential forwards to be popping off next season. And that has been maintained and assembled by GMJB. So I think we can confidently say that the McMann acquisition, originally a second and fourth round pick, was a huge W. I remember saying at the time it would be a W if they re-signed him, because it allowed us to have an advantage in re-signing him. It's not a coincidence that he was on the team and we're the team that signed him before he hit free agency. After he and us saw how he fit with our team in those games where we were able to give him 19 to 20 minutes a night. Matthew, I have one question for you, okay? How are we feeling about Bobby McMann staying in Seattle, baby?
So when this news came, I was still feeling pretty high from the SAMO trade. I was back home. I had a stomach full of waffles and breakfast sausages and like all that good stuff. Like I said before, I was chilling, I was relaxing. And then there was an Elliot Friedman tweet that said, sounds like the Kraken are close to closing in on Bobby McMann. And I texted you, Derek, it might happen. And then I have like Kraken Twitter alerts turned on anytime they tweet, and it came down saying Bobby is back. And I like jumped off the couch and threw my phone, and I was psyched. Like you said, he's the only guy that seemed to give a shit at the end of last season.
Yeah.
And it like we need that. We need 84 games of that. 84 games now, not 82. We need 84 games of that. We are not going to be hindered by his visa issues that slowed him joining up. We are just going to get the full unleashing of Bobby McMann, and I cannot wait to see it. Yes, he's 30 years old. He signed for 6 years, which I'm sure people like. Well, not I'm sure. I've seen people hate. He's going to be 36 by the time he's done that contract. But I think the dollar amount is fantastic. We were joking, like this was probably 20 episodes ago. We were joking that they're going to back up the Brinks truck and pay him like 7 by 11 or something like that, like some monster amount. But it's like just under $6 million. That's fantastic.
It's like
cap
Jaden Schwartz
management.
money. It's like Jaden Schwartz money or something. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I have a couple takeaways from this. Uh, in the press release that went out, it said that he talked extensively with the management before signing. So he was talking about like what's the direction of this team, all that kind of stuff. So something in their pitch must have turned him and convinced him to re-signing. Um, Another thing in that release was that it said he met with lots of leaders like Matty Beniers, Jordan Eberle, Brandon Montour. So those guys hyping him up and making him stay is awesome. Also, indirect way of saying Brandon Montour is a leader. Give him an A this season. Let's make it happen. Lastly, I feel that this move, kind of in combo with the SAMO trade, is going to cause a pretty significant ripple effect down the team. I think that will put the nail in the coffin on Jaden Schwartz. I think that at least gets the hammer ready on Ellie Tolvanen, who apparently the team is not like making any effort to re-sign, though he wants to stay. So you're taking like a 26-year-old Tolvanen and swapping him for a 23-year-old Samoskevich. And I think that as much as I'd like to have them both, I feel this could give room to make Jared McCann like a trade deadline piece that's moving if we're not in the picture before he hits free agency. So, your thoughts on those takeaways?
Yeah, I agree for the most part. I also think, because of how efficient this McMann contract is, if we ever were in a situation where we needed to trade him, we probably also could as well. I am a big proponent of keeping both McCann and McMann. I don't think guys like McCann really grow on trees. And no matter what we got back, I just don't think it's gonna rival. I was listening to old episodes of Beneath the Waves today, and we were talking about who's going to get the first goal. And we highlighted how like Jared McCann had done it year after year. And he just seems to be like Mr. Points. Just like he's just whenever he plays, he gets points. And that is just the most rare thing in the NHL. So I'm really high on McCann. I don't want to see him go. I think if you have core of guys going into their mid to late 30s of like McCann, McMann, Dunn, Montour, Stevenson, like maybe that's okay is kind of how I'm feeling. But I personally think that this speaks volumes to the intent of the Kraken. And as you highlighted, the conversations that McMahon had with the front office, that's such an indicator of good news to me, especially when he still decided to sign for a relatively low AAV. So I am convinced that McMahon, he has behind the scenes knowledge, he has top secret clearance to know anything that the org is doing. He
knows those anchor jerseys are coming. He already did the photo shoot.
Exactly. He's bought in. So guess what? I'm bought in too. Okay. McMahon buys in. We buy in. That's the policy. But to get back to what you said about the audit, I also wanted to clarify something. But many folks are rightfully upset that no deliverables have been delivered. A bull? No. Sorry, that's no. I've been delivered. From an annual report that Todd Leiweke promised fans the first iteration of would release in May. It's the annual report. It's not the audit. So the Sportsology audit is separate. I keep hearing everybody saying the audit, and you said the audit too, but it's fine. But like they're two different things. But he did.
I just wanted to trigger you and make this spiral happen.
He did mislead regarding the annual report, and it was promised to be released sometime in May. But this pair of moves, the Samoskevich trade and the McMann re-signing, should be enough to hold down the folks who are upset about no annual report for the time being, because how it shows the intent. The Samoskevich move, as you highlighted, efficiently gains a younger player with high-end potential in Lambert's system while not giving up too much. And the McMann move, together with this combined, shows that this team wants to win in both the short and the long term. This is my favorite way for a team to build, in a way that doesn't make for any boring hockey in the interim where you scrap all of your players and you have, AHL players in the top six. And you're quietly and efficiently able to build a team of above average players to be able to compete indefinitely in the NHL. Moves like Samoskevich and McMann are both like this. Even though one is 23 and one is 30 and one hasn't hit their potential and the other has, these are both extremely efficient moves in my opinion. So that's all I got to say about that.
Hell yeah, I'm stoked. It all comes down to this, a best of 7 battle, and DraftKings has you covered every step of the way. The DraftKings Sportsbook app is now available in all 50 states and includes all markets. Sweat every shift of the series all in one place with one app. New DraftKings customers sign up with code THPN, spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That's code THPN in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Bet with DK Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, that text pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Void in Ontario. Event contract trading with DraftKings Predictions involves risk of loss. Sportsbook bonus bets expire in 7 days. $50 in Predictions dollars issued weekly for 3 weeks expire in 1 year. Redeem one non-withdrawable reward. Availability varies. Predictions offer void in New York. Ends June 28. Terms at dkng.co/audio.
Moving on from the McMann re-signing, we have some more good news, but maybe less, hot button exciting. It's that former Kraken,
I don't know, people were fired up online.
People were fired up online about this. Former Kraken defenseman Justin Schultz was hired as a player development coach for the Seattle Kraken. Schultz was, as you know, an esteemed member of the defensive corps here in Seattle, playing in 143 games, which is crazy because they just fly by, bro. Like, following this team from the beginning, these games just freaking fly by. But 143 games for Seattle. He held down the blue line and posted 60 points in that span. He was also a member of the Pittsburgh Penguins from 2015 to 2020, notably overseen by Jason Botterill in 2015 and 2016, and Patrick Allvin was also a member of the front office during that period of time. So like you said, those Venn diagrams are cooking. Everyone is getting along. What did I say earlier this week? Like, we have the whole Penguins front office, and what was the other thing? There was a player. Oh, the University of Michigan Wolverines players and the Penguins front office, but so many connections. I am personally very stoked to see Schultz back, and I hope this is the first in a long line of former Kraken players that come back to help with the team. I think that's very special. And hopefully now we'll be able to develop some of our defensemen. We're probably going to be, spoiler alert, we're probably going to be drafting a defenseman this year, so maybe that'll be good for them. And I also wanted to say that I was talking to you, Matt, about Schultz coming back, and I was saying that now he can, maybe teach Vince Dunn how to play defense. And all the times when they were teammates, he might have been trying to show him some things, but Dunn's like, "Oh, you're just my teammate," and now he's like, "Oh no, I'm your coach now, so I'm going to show you how it's done." But how are you feeling about Schultz coming back as a coach, Matt?
I think it's awesome to have someone that has a connection to a lot of this roster that he played with. That first wave of OG Kraken is slowly falling off, but there are still a handful of people who had time with Schultz, and he was never one that I was like super pumped up excited about. Like, you've pointed fingers at me saying like, you don't care about defenders, you only care about forwards. But I don't know, it's just like wasn't one of my buzz guys, but I'm pretty sure he had the first ever playoff goal in CPA, so he has his name attached to that, which is pretty exciting. And I think, just any chance to bring some familiarity and some expertise that he has, because like you said, he's won the cup. This team hasn't done that yet, and that's what we need. So let's make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, good point. Playing defense for the Kraken in the playoffs, and less flashy, but definitely solid defensively, which is a huge problem, especially with some of our more offensive defensemen, like your boy Brandon Montour or my boy Vince Dunn.
When he played, I was a lot more down on Brian Dumoulin, who he was with. So I think just as
they kind of came in like together, I feel like.
Yeah, they were that same free agency.
Yeah.
So then I feel like my indifference towards Justin Schultz came from my often not psychness about Brian
That
Dumoulin.
that makes a lot of sense. It was also announced last Thursday that we signed our very own AHLer, Logan Morrison, Lomo, by the Kraken to a two-way deal for 1 year at $850,000 AAV. In case you aren't familiar, two-way deals mean that when the player is in the AHL, they make AHL salary compared to a one-way deal where the player makes the listed NHL AAV even when they're down in the AHL. Lomo is 23 years old, and in 2021 and 2022, he dropped 100 points in 60 games for the Hamilton Bulldogs, big hockey town over in Hamilton, I've heard.
Yeah.
Of the OHL. And he's been improving nicely in the AHL, going from 42 points in 72 games 2 years ago to a massive 61 points in 68 games last season as a 23-year-old. Lomo was undrafted, but seems to be developing nicely. Do you, Matt, do you see a future where, this 23-year-old kid who seems to be taking stepping stone years in the AHL the last couple seasons and dropped 100 points in the O, do you see a future where Morrison cracks the Kraken roster?
Well, I mean, he's played 4 games in a Kraken jersey, so in a way, he has cracked the roster.
There you go.
He's 23, so he's still got lots of runway ahead of him. This season was a lot of him and Jagger Firkus like jockeying back and forth for who was going to be at the top of that leaderboard. So I can see there being kind of a tug of war sort of thing happening there. Um, if he, I think our forward depth is such, especially depending how free agency goes, that maybe he'll be a bubble guy, but I don't see him fully cracking the roster.
I could also see him as sort of like your scratch guy for a couple stints during the season. We also have some rumors, or as Canadians call them, rumors.
Rumors.
Rumors. So the first rumor that we got to address is that Jaden Schwartz is unlikely to be signed. I feel good about this. I feel like Matt also feel good about this.
I have accepted this fact and want it to happen.
Yeah, I feel like most Kraken fans probably feel good about this. But yeah, just know that Schwartz is unlikely to be signed, probably going to hit free agency. Eli Tolvaden is a bit more of a controversial one. He has had no talks engaged by the Kraken, but may have intent to stay, suggesting that the Kraken don't want him to stay, and Tolvi does. As you alluded to earlier with Samoskevich and McMann coming back, maybe not room for Tolvaden as we try to improve, but I just love Tolvaden so much. I feel like last year he had a down year, but I feel like he can really do everything. He's a Finnish army knife, and he has an unreal shot that we didn't really get to see a lot last year. I'm wondering if maybe he was injured, but I could definitely see like the same thing happening when Nashville allowed him to be claimed off waivers to the Kraken, and he just goes on a tear. I could definitely see that with Tolvi if we let him walk. What do you think the Kraken should do with Eli Tolvanen?
I think it's at the point where the team clearly doesn't have a lot of interest in you.
Yeah.
I feel there would be a lot of awkward vibes in that locker room when it's like
That's a good point.
like kind of like align it to like the Hillary Knight kind of thing of the expansion when she wasn't protected and she kind of had this chip on her shoulder then saying like, well, I'm going to go play elsewhere. You would want to then keep her with knowing that she wants out kind of thing. This is sort of related, but the inverse where he is wanting in. But yeah, I've come to accept that this might happen.
I think Tolvanen's coming back despite all this drama. Please come back. Please, Kraken. Further, there has literally been, I don't think, any word on like I said at the top, like there's been so many NHL rumors, but I feel like I've been pretty plugged in like the last week or so, and I haven't seen jack about Jamie. So I haven't seen jack about Jamie. That's funny. So I think it's safe to assume his out of here.
Uh,
Um,
Again, let's make it happen. No one will be upset if he goes.
Schwartz and Alexiak are the two where it's like it's the new like Tanev and Gort. Like I said, listen to some old BTW. It's the new Tanev and Gort, but we're like they both had their time. They're both
Yep.
dope, but it's both their time to go. Okay. Some other rumors are that the Kraken are potentially open to moving Shane Wright. Bunch of different mock trades going on with that. Not even going to try to cover any of them because there are just so many. But potentially Philadelphia has interest. And there are rumors that the Kraken are shopping Jared McCann, to my dismay and to Matt's chagrin. Is that
No, it would still suck.
okay?
It's
But
just
chagrin's the right word, right?
yeah.
Okay. So
Um,
you are happy about McCann leaving.
no.
Because chagrin is the right word you said.
Well, from what hold on, we got a cat crawling across
Oh. Does
There
your
we
cat
go.
want McCann to stay?
here. Do you want McCann to stay, Maeve? No response.
I'm taking that as a yes.
I'll just say with both these guys, I have both of their jerseys in my closet, so I'd have to mentally prepare to retire those jerseys and not have them be active players.
Don't think you'll have to. I think both are staying. Okay, so that gets us to the meat of this episode, which wasn't that, if you could believe it. Uh, and that is the preview for the NHL draft, the 2026 NHL draft, which is taking place this Friday, the 26th.
Yep.
Let's go. Good mental math there. Okay, so there are four main potential players that I have outlined for you all today. The theme of all of them, in all caps, is all defense right now. Okay, that's our lock. We're locked in on defense. That's what you need to know. The first defenseman is Carson Karls. He's a left-handed defenseman, and he is committed to the University of North Dakota. He played for the Prince George Cougars of the WHL this year, scoring 20 goals and posting 53 assists for 73 points in 58 games. He's 6'2 and 198 pounds, and what you get with Karls is elite offense. Few defensemen, if any, in the WHL this year move the puck better or have a harder or quicker slap shot or wrist shot than Karls. He is only 17 years old and was Canada's youngest player at World Juniors. Karls is ranked as the third highest prospect among NA skaters. Not only does he have this offensive skill from the blue line in a million ways to pass the puck in order to generate chances, but he also profiles as a very physical defenseman. So you're really, it's like checking all the boxes, like Matt likes to say. He profiles as this physical defenseman, having built a lot of strength working his family's 500 head cattle farm in Cypress River, Manitoba. And if you
Manitoba.
if you know anything about Manitoba, you know that there's nothing around besides cattle farms, right? Or is that geographically wrong? Is there stuff in Manitoba? Is Winnipeg in Manitoba?
Yes.
Yeah, there's one city, it's Winnipeg in Manitoba, and the rest is farms.
They got the Jets, they got the smelly blue bombers, and they have cattle farms.
Let's go. So yeah, working those 500 cows, Karl's built a lot of strength. If he falls to the Kraken at pick 7, because this would be a fall, like I said, he's ranked third among NA skaters. So if he drops to the Kraken at 7, this would be a no-brainer. Like, you have to take this guy if he falls at 7. His strengths are that he is an offensive god, so that's a pretty big strength. Like, I'm not saying that lightly. He has above average skating. He's very physical. He has really good passing skills and high IQ. And he actually, believe it or not, has no weaknesses that I was able to find, which is why he will probably go top 5 in this draft. And if he doesn't, we have to snag him at 7.
Mm-hmm.
His NHL player comparison, per the Hockey Writers, is none other than Miro Heiskanen of Dallas, who is the guy who logs like 30 minutes in every single playoff game and is just an unreal offensive defenseman weapon. So what do you think, Matt? We got to take this guy,
like
right?
you said, no brainer.
Yeah, this guy's unreal.
If he's out on the cattle farm chucking hay bales and just getting that farm strength, we want that to replace Jamie Alexiak, who didn't use his size. 6'2", 198, maybe he bulks up a little more for the NHL and lays out some heavy hits. But yeah, you can't pass this guy up if he's still there.
I think he's going to be unreal. Our second player is Keaton Vierhoff, and he's a right-handed defenseman. He is a player at the University of North Dakota, so him and Carls will be teammates next year. He dropped 6 goals and 14 assists in 36 games in the NCAA as a 17-year-old who just turned 18. He is 6'4" and 216 pounds. Vierhoff scored 21 goals for the Victoria Royals in the WHL as a 16-year-old. For Carls to reach that 20-goal mark in the WHL is elite for a WHL defenseman. It's a number that most defensemen don't cross. For Vierhoff to exceed that as a 16-year-old is truly remarkable. The NCAA numbers may seem down, but remember that the NCAA is filled with drafted players all the way up to 23 years old, and he was the youngest player to ever suit up for a varsity game at the University of North Dakota, a very prestigious hockey college. He is ranked right behind Carls at number 4 among NA players. Still a very good decision, but Vierhoff presents himself as slightly more of a project because his strengths are his size, his physicality, his stick skills, his aggressiveness, and his absolutely cannon shot. Like he like Monty level boom in it, maybe even more. His weaknesses though are also his aggressiveness. His aggressiveness like gets him into a lot of bad positions, and he also has weaknesses defending against the rush, and a huge weakness in skating. He's pretty slow, and honestly, I read articles that said he might not be able to keep up with like NHL players at all. So this is a moment where you're really missing Coach Jess Campbell, because she could have been in there helping this dude with his power skating and developing his skating. Hopefully we have someone in our staff that does that if we do draft him. How do you feel about his NHL player comparison is Noah Dobson of the Canadiens, who is a big-bodied offensive defenseman. So another offensive defenseman, Matt, how are we feeling about potentially getting Vierhoff?
Well, when you contrast with weaknesses none to weaknesses can't keep up with people, that's a not great comparison, despite all of the stellar milestones that he reached as a teenager. 6'4", 216. I like that tail of the tape. That's pretty good. This is one of the guys that it came out that the Kraken management were taken out to dinner to have a chat with during the combine and stuff like that. So he clearly appears to be fairly high on their list. We'll just see how it shakes out.
I'm really excited if we get Vierhoff, because while he's not NHL ready, probably he has so much upside, and it's like a big investment, like a cool project to be working on. So hopefully the AHL could develop him or something. Okay, moving forward to our third prospect we're going to look at, and that's Albert Schmitz. He's a left-handed D-man out of Ukraine, of Liga. And in Liga, the average age is mid to late 20s. These are all pros. Liga is like a top 5 league in the entire world. So him being there as a draft eligible prospect is pretty crazy. European prospects are just unreal. He played in 38 games this year, getting 6 goals and 7 assists for 13 points. So not too great, but he is playing against people like literally 10 years older than he is and professional. He also played for Team Latvia at the Olympics, like the real Olympics, the real Olympics against all the NHL players. And he played in 4 games for Team Latvia, getting 0 goals and 2 assists. So he got points at the freaking Olympics, dude. This guy, like all 3 of these guys are just exciting for different reasons. He's ranked 2nd among EU skaters, right behind Ivar Stenberg. And Schmitz is 6'3" and 205 pounds. So an inch smaller than Vierhoff and about the same weight. So he's got some more heft to him. He's an extremely reliable skater. Contrast that with Vierhoff. And he's very physical. He excels at the defensive aspects of being a defenseman. He's a very unique player as he's really quick. His skating is so interesting. He's like super quick, and he thrives in like neutral zone development and rush opportunities, and he'll just take off. Like it's like, how is this guy moving like this? He'll just take off into the neutral zone. He's down in the offensive zone in like 3 strides because his legs are just so long. He's a very dynamic defenseman, but much like Virhoff, he also seems to be more of a project than Carl's. And yeah, so his strengths are his straight line speed, his size, his mobility, and that he's played in professional environments and the Olympics and can handle those like pro level guys
Hmm.
defensively. So really nice to see. His weaknesses are that he's not as offensively elite as Virhoff or Karl. So more you're giving up more of the offense here for like he's able to skate and he's
It's like you
defensive.
got your skill tree on Chell and you're sliding up the
Exactly.
defensive and it's bringing that down. Yeah.
Exactly. And Carl's is just able to bypass that for some reason.
Yeah. Cheat
Um,
codes.
yeah. Another weakness is again his aggressiveness can lead to poor positioning, and that's something that we see with Montour when defensive guys like to jump up as a forward, they often are not back as a defenseman.
Yeah.
So his NHL player comparison is Moritz Seider of Detroit, who is a two-way first pairing defenseman. So pretty good comparison. All three of these guys can probably be what I saw online the number two defenseman on a team. All three of these guys are potential first pairs. So how are we feeling about Schmitz?
This is one that's kind of been on the radar early, like when the draft order came out, and lots of people had him going around number 7. So, been at least familiar with his name. I think with the weaknesses you laid out, those are things that can be developed. So, maybe like a half step back from where we could be, but I'm liking what you laid out there.
Let's go. All right, our fourth, and by the way, this is in order of like how I think this isn't just alphabetical order. This is like how I think the Kraken should do this. So the last guy that I think we should get is Daxon Rudolph. He's a right-handed defenseman. He's a University of Denver commit, and he played on the Prince Albert Raiders this year of the WHL. He played in 68 games and had 28 goals and 50 assists. So 78 points in 68 games. He's ranked fifth among North American skaters, right behind Karls and Virhoff, and Rudolph is yet another elite defenseman prospect, posting 28 goals and also leading the WHL in playoff points as a second-year draft-eligible player. He possesses all of the elite offensive upside of Virhoff and Karls. He is just as in on the rush, has less solid skating, but apparently has elite timing. So like his skating is bad, but he's really good at like timing his movements to like match up with the move. Like he's people have said that he processes the game like 2 times faster than like everybody else, which is a really good trait to have in the NHL.
Hmm.
Um, and that's what allows him to remain dynamic and able to generate offense. But there are signs that there may be much work to do on the defensive side of the game. Maybe profiling like former second round pick Lucas Dragicevic, who is still yet to show his defensive play can warrant him making the leap to the NHL. Out of these four prospects, he is the one I would want the least, but at least there is still that huge glimmer of offensive upside, which is so coveted, and who knows how his game will develop at the NCAA level. His strengths are, like I said, his timing, his IQ. He has like McDavid level game processing time, his playmaking, his deception, and he has smooth skating. His weaknesses are his defensive play at times, but so yeah, not very good defensively. His NHL player comparison is Zach Werenski, who is a point per game defenseman for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So amazing offensive upside. How you feeling about Daxon Rudolph? I think you mentioned that this is the name that you would
I
love the
said
most.
Daxon Rudolph is a tough hockey name, TUFF, tough hockey name. So it's got that going for him. I mean, when you're talking about a defender and your weakness is defensive play, that's a little concerning. I can see why in the Derek PTW official power rankings, he put him down at the final slot. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, we can hopefully develop these guys, like you said, see how the NCAA time goes for him, eventually get him down to Coachella, stuff like that, and work his way up. I have 3 questions for you. Question
Okay.
one: do the Kraken draft at 7?
Yes.
Okay. Question two, what are the chances we go tried and true with picking a center?
um, I would say extremely low because of the prospects that we have already, the forward prospects, and the fact that we've drafted about 17 centers in like 3 years of draft. So yeah, probably pretty low.
Okay, and my third question, if one of these guys is picked, do you think any of them can jump the queue of the prospect queue and make it up to the big show?
Absolutely. I think if Carls was drafted, he would immediately become our best defensive prospect because we have not really had an opportunity, or sorry, we have had opportunities to draft defensemen in the top 10. We just haven't
Mhm.
done it. So this and there's such a huge like the drop off from like at 10 to 15 to like 25, like I was talking about earlier. When you talk about taking defensemen in like the third and fourth rounds, like those guys might not even play in the NHL. Like these guys, all four of these guys could potentially be top pairing, and we do not have a defensive prospect like that.
All right. I would love a strange world where we get Carroll's for whatever reason and we stick him on line two with Monty and shovel Ryan Lindgren down to line three so we barely have to see him. Um, but yeah, I think there'll be a lot of happy Kraken fans if we take a defenseman, and I'm sure somewhere in that audit it says that we are very thin defensively.
I do empathize with the Kraken fans who want the annual report out because it's like it would be dope to have the annual report out like before all this goes down,
Mhm.
to like see if it lines up. I definitely
Maybe they're
resonate with that.
waiting and they're saying like, this is the report that we got. This is what we did with it. This is the product
That would be
of it.
beautiful. That would be beautiful.
But who knows? That
But
could
yeah,
be just a fever dream.
if we take Carl's, he's immediately going to become. I played defenseman my like entire life. If we take Carl's, he's going to immediately become my favorite player, and I will be so invested in him. I hope we get him so bad.
I didn't play defense my whole life because I can't skate backwards or stop or really go forward. So
And that brings us to our final little discussion here, and that is who do you think is the Kraken's best prospect versus the most NHL ready prospect?
So this is a debate that came up in our world. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. Maybe we were getting into it with someone on Instagram who said that Julius Miettinen was the Kraken's best prospect and said, like, do you agree, disagree? And for those who want to peek behind the BTW curtain, like we share access to all the different social media accounts. So we had to coordinate. Are you talking right now or am I talking right
We
now?
were
Because we
just
were both
blasting.
jumping in. If you see a tweet where like there's two replies within a minute of each other, we probably were tweeting at the exact same time. Um, we went into that prompt when it said who is the Kraken's best prospect with there is a big difference between best prospect and most NHL ready because the debate turned to, oh well, Mittinen is the most NHL ready prospect with how he did in the playoffs this year. He's the best prospect, and we're like, I don't know about that. So I wanted to make sure we divided this into two sections. My best is Jake O'Brien, who we drafted last draft. I can't wait to see this kid in the AHL next season. This last season with the Brantford Bulldogs in the OHL, he was very strong with 28 goals and 65 assists in 53 games played. So you love to see that. I was looking at other Kraken first rounders. Berkeley Catton in his last season had like 100 and some points, but he was also older than um, O'Brien was, so can kind of compare that with a grain of salt. But the one thing I'm excited with him is that next season will be the first time where teams are able to send one 19-year-old prospect to the AHL,
So
and
exciting.
there's like not a shadow of a doubt that he's going to be that person that they send down. And I want to see what that step from OHL to AHL is. Like we saw with Jagger Firkus, who lit up the WHL, went to the Firebirds. His first season wasn't crazy with the Firebirds, but this season he found his stride. And like we said with Lomo, he was neck and neck with him the entire way through. So I hope there's not kind of that gap season where he's figuring those things out, but fast track this guy to the top. Give like Zame wanted Stevenson that buyout and get us a center core of O'Brien and Beniers and Shane Wright if he's still here. Berkeley Catton can slide back into center. I think that all around Jake O'Brien's our best prospect in the pipeline.
Completely agree with you. And while you mentioned like Jagger Firkus, like Jake O'Brien just plays in a way that suggests to me that he is going to not only tear it up at the AHL level, but be able to make the leap to the NHL level a lot quicker than anybody else. And it's because he's a center that like he's like down and dirty in every play and constantly stick handling it, like being shifty AF, and he's just in it. He's like a little bulldog just tearing it up. And oh wait, he was on the Bulldogs. That's funny.
Yeah, that's why I gave you that look.
That's funny. That's funny. But no, like when I watch him play, his playmaking ability is just insane, like a highlight reel player type. Fergus seems to me like he's more like weak, like with the puck. He seems more just like a guy who, when he gets opportune shots, he's really good at goal scoring. Jake O'Brien, it's like that mental processing thing that I was talking about earlier. Like, and that's just such an intangible in NHL play, and I think that's one of the biggest indicators as to whether or not you can handle it. And his brain just seems to be working at such a high level, and his stick skills are unreal. So I'm also going to go with Jake O'Brien as the best prospect for the Kraken, if you don't include like Berkeley Catton or Yanni Newman,
No, I
like guys who are already
a full timer. Yeah.
Sure.
Now, with most NHL ready, I think, I don't know if this is like a cop out to say, but Nicky Coco, I think, is the most NHL ready. He's played in a couple games, but like we kind of just said, I don't know if that disqualifies him. If we're just considering this like prospect who has not yet cracked the roster on the big show. So outside of that, it's really tough to see without lots of people having ice time yet. But I would love to see just like a game of what Firkus can do if he gets a shot at some time during the season. I would like him. I would like Oscar Fisker Molgard to, because like OFM popped off in the Calder Cup playoffs. He was consistently at the top of the points and the goals. I want them to be like the bubble guys next season who can get called up to get some of that main ice time. We'll see what happens. There might be like, we also have JR Avon, who we picked up in a trade for Tucker Robertson or whoever it was.
Yeah.
And he just like lit the AHL on fire in the playoffs. So who, like, I don't know. We'll see. But I would like to see Firkus get that shot. Miettinen could be cool too. I could see him like getting a couple reps in at the Firebirds to see how he does against bigger guys, and maybe they're like, okay, he's got it. Let's give him the bump.
You know, when I was watching Miettinen, I forgot to say this when I was talking about Jake O'Brien. Is what I was going to say, but when I was watching Miettinen, just nothing really stood out or screamed to me that like this guy's going to tear it up at like the NHL level. A lot of it's like he's standing in the net front at the WHL level, and there's pucks kicking around with some goaltenders who are probably never even going to be in the NHL, and he's like pushing it past them like from the crease. And, like I just didn't really see a whole lot there. I think I saw a decent amount of like his face-off wins and stuff, but I just have not seen enough where I'm going to say Miettinen's like the best. And that person that we were arguing with, they were sort of going by like team success of the Everett Silvertips and the fact that they won the championship and the fact that they had such a good playoffs, indicating that's what he would bring to the Kraken, even though it's a team full of really good players like Landon DuPont and stuff. The most NHL ready, you mentioned OFM. He actually got a decent amount of games, and I think he could be pretty ready. I'm sticking with my guns. This goes completely against all NHL reporting, against all athletic reporting, anything that's related to prospect analysis. Logan Morrison is our most NHL ready prospect. I think I've uncovered a gold mine here with this 100 points, undrafted, stepping stones in the AHL. He's a skill player. I think he could come in and be like sort of like a Sprong type guy on the fourth line, where he's not very good defensively, but he can score, right? And that was a crucial part of our playoff run, is that we had a fourth line that when they matched up against everyone else's fourth line, they just posted so many goals. So Lomo, baby, I'm high on Lomo. That's my guy this upcoming season.
I love it. We'll have to wait and see. We know the Kraken love their undrafted guys.
Oh yeah,
You got
J.R.
him.
Avon too.
J.R. Avon, Ryden Evers, who they picked up like a month ago, who's not
Forgot about
Riker
that guy.
Evans. He did awesome in the WHL, and he's going to get CV time next season. So
Things
we'll
are
see.
things are generally looking up for the prospect pool. They were ranked 7th by Scott Wheeler. So yeah, that'll do it for our little prospect segment here. Just wanted to say that you don't have to wait long for your next dose of BTW content, as this week we bifurcated. It's a big legal term, big law student here. We bifurcated the episodes this week. This was a strictly Kraken one. We're going to be dropping another episode in your feeds in a couple days, covering strictly the Torrent and their draft and expansion, including our amazing, wonderful interview with McKenna of Watch Seattle Women's Sports. And Matt, you want to close us out this week and tell everyone where they can find BTW goodness online?
I can. I don't usually do this part, so I'm not sure how it'll
You
go.
got it.
But as always, we got to plug the website, btwsca.com. That's where you can go to find out podcast episodes. Our store is there at the shop extension. Go get your Ebbs design, your Monty Mania design, your Shane Wright, The Price is Right design before that's maybe a collector's item and we have to pull it out of the store. There's lots of stuff there. There's almost always a sale going on, so go check it out and see what you can get. As always, we want to plug our good friend Heather, who drops just absolutely elite articles for the hockey news. You can follow along with her at Heather Nicole with no E and at the Hockey News W to see more of her work. Please go and drop a follow and a 5-star review on the podcast app of your choice. If you're watching this on YouTube, listening on Spotify, listening on Apple Podcasts, listening on some weird podcast app that we don't know about that they use in Argentina for our one Argentinian listener that it says in our analytics, please go drop a follow, drop a review there. And lastly, please go ahead and follow us on all socials. It helps us a whole lot. We have been having a lot of fun chatting with people in the replies, sharing our stuff. We love it anytime someone hits a retweet or post to their stories. So thank you to each and every one of you who have been doing that. And I must say, BTW will have no delay. Find out our next podcast when it drops at BTW SCA. There we go.
Let's
I
go.
made that up on the fly. We will see you in a couple days, and then we will see you on the other side to see how the Kraken drafted. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We will talk to you again soon. Go Kraken, go Torrent. Bye!
Going beneath the waves.